Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sorrowful here, and as I promised, it's time to give you guys a follow-up video of my questions and answers video, this time being the answers portion of it. And before I start, I just want to say, for those of you guys that do celebrate it, Happy Victoria's Day, and be safe. And also, in case you guys didn't see this part of my comment on the video, the questions video, all questions submitted past 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday will not be answered in this video. So I apologize if you answered a little later. I gave you guys a week to answer, or like 6 days and a half. So I thought that'd be more than enough. So yeah, and I also want to thank all of you guys that participated and submitted your questions. It really, a lot of you guys asked some really, really good questions. There's no bad questions, actually. And yeah, I really like that. So now that that's done, I'm going to try and do this. This is my first question and answer video that I'm actually, finishing. So um, I'm gonna try and do it this way. If you guys have a better way that you think I could do it in the future, go ahead and leave so in the comment section below. And here we go. So DutchMark asks, what are your top 5 worst classes? I'm saving that for a future video in my top 10 series, so I'm not going to answer that here, but just know that that will be its own video. He also asks, are you planning on making a character walkthrough / miso making guide / weekly bossing videos? I might make a character walkthrough if people, if my viewers want that enough. I will definitely do that. Miso making guide, I kind of have some miso making guides already on my channel, but I might be making more if I get some more ideas. And weekly bossing videos I will definitely be doing once my wind archer reaches 1 mil range, and I just can't wait for that moment so that I can show you guys about a new boss every single week. Ever thinking of switching your wind archer gear to my BM, my bowmaster? Definitely not. I thought about it in the past, but ever since they got revamped, I absolutely hate bowmasters now, and I would never main one, nonetheless, play one. So I'm definitely not thinking of switching my wind archer gear to my bowmaster. He also asks, what's the most underrated / underestimated class in MapleStory in my eyes? I think the most underrated and underestimated class would probably be, there's actually a lot of them, because nowadays if you go on Maple you only see a couple classes really. You see mostly thieves. You don't really see Evans. They could be really powerful. You don't really see Corsairs or Cannoneers. You don't even see Buccaneers. You don't even see Demon Slayers. So those are like 5 that come right off the top of my head that I think are underrated, and you don't really see them. And it's kind of a shame because I like a lot of those classes a lot. So yeah. Which hero do I like the most? By hero, I'm assuming you mean, one of the Maple letters, so the, Mercedes, Aaron, stuff like that. My favorite Maple hero would probably be Luminous or Phantom. So yeah, it's gonna be between those two. Which job storyline do I like the most? I think Night Lord or Demon Slayer. Yeah, it's Demon Slayer. I like Demon Slayer's storyline. It's nice and dark, and he comes from a painful past, and yeah, it's just really cool. I don't know too much about the storylines at all, but what I do know, um, is a little bit. So Demon Slayer would have to win that for me. My third main, well, my first is my Wind Archer, my second is my Buccaneer, and my third would have to be my Shadower at the moment. So those are some really good questions. Thank you, DutchMark. And yeah, he asked quite a lot of questions. So time to move on. Alright. So this one comes from Cusco CadiaEMS. He asks, do I study or work? Where do you live? And what do I think about him, his channel, I'm assuming. So I actually study. I go to school. I go to college for business. Yeah, it's a 3-year program that I'm in, and I'm not entirely sure of what I'm going to do afterwards. Where do I live? I reside in I'm going to just say Canada, and I'll say Ontario. That's as far as I'm going to go though. And what do I think about your channel? I think you have a very strong Kaiser, and you do make some pretty nice content, and I do expect you to grow a lot more in the future. So thank you for your questions, Cusco. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am. And yeah. So this one comes from ARBoy. He asks, what made you play a Wind Archer? And do you have any hopes for a maybe revamp for Wind Archers? What made me play a Wind Archer was the revamp. Once I seen the revamp, I absolutely fell in love with the class, and I couldn't wait to try it out and play it for myself. And then once I did play it, it was super fun. And that's a big thing in MapleStory that a lot of people forget about, because we're too busy trying to get higher damage range and stuff. But you actually got to count in the fun factor. And Wind Archers were just absolutely fun for me. So that's what made me play one and main one. And do I have hopes for a Wind Archer revamp? I don't really care for one at this moment. I think they're fine. A little buff to their damage, which is coming from CadiaEMS. They are going to get buffed in their damage to balance them with other classes. So that's all I think we need. I don't think we need a revamp at all, but a little bit of a buff would be nice. Alright, so thank you, ARBoy. Next one comes from my boy Soulless Clone. He asked, who was your childhood hero? And if I could date one celebrity, who would it be? My childhood hero. I think my childhood hero, if I even if I even had one, would have to be Wolverine or Nightcrawler from X-Men. Those two, I don't know, they just seem so badass to me. Nightcrawler because he could teleport everywhere and he even looked pretty cool, and Wolverine because he's a freaking beast. And I think those would be my two childhood heroes. It wasn't no Spider-Man or Superman, but it was those two, I think. Good question. And if I could date one celebrity, who would it be? Well, to be completely honest, I'm not into celebrities at all. So even if I had the chance to date one, I wouldn't choose one. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Kind of a bummer maybe, but yeah, I'm not into celebrities at all. Thanks for your questions, Ryan. And moving on, we have Noah Iammertsma. I probably slaughtered that name, but Noah asks, what was your first MapleStory character? Now I have a huge story behind this, and I'm gonna cut it short though. My first MapleStory character was a archer, which I then made into a hunter and a ranger. This was, of course, long before Big Bang, and his name was Colonel Zone. Um, I really liked the name at the time, and yeah, I made him all the way up to level 80, 88, I believe, 86 or 88 before I deleted him, and yeah, made a new one. So that was my first MapleStory character. I was just always into the archer class from day one. So thanks for your question, Noah. Vangoro asks, how old are you, and who/what inspired you to start making MapleStory videos? So I'm 18, and I'm turning 19, but for the time being I'm 18. In July I will be turning 19. And who/what inspired me to start making MapleStory videos? Well, sorry guys for my voice, but what inspired me to make MapleStory videos, like the reason why I started making MapleStory videos, was because like back then there wasn't a lot of people making MapleStory videos, right? Like there was only very few, and at the time there wasn't someone who was making a video of every single boss, like all the small bosses, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be that one guy that had coverage video or coverage footage of all the bosses in the game. And so if you look back at my channel, if you go to my first videos uploaded, you'll see me uploading videos of all the bosses in Genesis, all the bosses in Lith Arbor, all the bosses in like all those small places, Kerning City, Neo City, all those bosses I tried making coverage video for, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to provide people out there on YouTube with footage that no one else would even think about doing. And I'm still kind of staying true to that. I try to bring you guys things that no one else does, and I always try to be innovative and unique and original, but it's a lot harder now since there's a lot of competition out there on YouTube for MapleStory, and especially since a lot of them are more godly than me. So yeah, but that's why I started making videos, and I really like that question. I think Van Gorel's the only one that asked that question, and yeah, it's a really good question. So thank you, Van Gorel, for your questions. And moving on, Andy Truong asks, how do people get so much miso, and where to start? Well, people obtain misos through different methods. Some people buy NX and then they sell their NX. Some people buy NX and use it on those boxes in the cash shop and then sell what they get from there. So NX plays a big part in starting to get misos and even continuing to get misos. It all depends on what your budget is too. What your budget is for MapleStory, pretty much. And there's other ways. You could start by merging small things to big things, which is what few people do. You could also just spend money on misos if you know someone that sells misos for US dollars. You could also just do that way. So there's different ways. There's merchanting, like I said. There's the NX buying. There's the miso direct buying. So there's different means of getting misos. Also take huge advantage of events. Like taking advantage of events costs the most time, but it's absolutely rewarding, and it's the most like true way of earning a dollar kind of thing to say. So yeah, events, take advantage of them, and you'll definitely get some money, good money actually. A quick example is farm maple leaves every single day, get about like I don't know 20,000 leaves every single day, sell them, you'll get mad money. Like it's not hard, it just takes a lot of time, and you have to be dedicated to that stuff. So thank you for your question, Andy Trong. I hope I answered it, to your standards. Another person, Bottle Cap Zor, Bottle Cap Zor, and he has a funny little picture there. He asks, do you buy NX? If so, how often and what do you spend it on? What do you think about mechanics? Alright, so do I buy NX? I have purchased NX before in the past, but now I used to use my own money, but now I use in-game currency, so Misos, to buy NX. So yeah, I do buy NX, but just through a different way. I buy NX maybe once a month, if even that often, using Misos. And I spend it on cubes mostly. Yeah, I'm trying to upgrade my equips. I use it on cubes or protection scrolls to scroll my tyrant gear and stuff like that. What do I think about mechanics? I think mechanics are great. The early levels are really, really boring though. I'm trying to make a mechanic level 100 myself, but I just can't seem to get it past level 30. It's just so dreadful at those levels, and they're just really slow in the beginning. But once you do hit level 100, they become pretty fun, and they're just a fun, unique class that nobody really plays. So that's pretty much my thoughts on mechanics. So thank you for your question, Bottle Capsor. Moving on, we have MapleStory prompt. Hey Sorrowful, are you a fan of anime? If yes, what is your favorite anime? I'm definitely not a fan of anime. Might be a bummer and a shocker to most of you guys because of my fairy tale intro, but I absolutely dislike anime. The only one I've ever loved and still love is Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z. That anime was just amazing for me, and yeah, I just loved it to death. But yeah, other than that, don't really like anime. Don't like One Piece. Don't like. I didn't even like Inuyasha when that was around. Uh, Avatar, don't like it. I don't like anime, just to say the least. So yeah, sorry. So, but to answer, my favorite anime obviously is Dragon Ball Z. Moving on, we got Blue Basil. Who's the coolest guy I know? Coolest guy I know. It'd probably have to be myself. I think I'm the coolest guy I know. And I know myself pretty well. He also asks, tits or ass? I'm gonna go ahead and say ass. Lastly, what did I end up doing with that perfect dagger that one guy gave me? I ended up selling that dagger for a nice chunk of misos, and it ended up helping me fund my character quite a bit. So thank you, Jim. Or Blue Basil. Alright, next we got Shen Eurowitz, frequent commenter on my videos. She asks, oh no, she doesn't ask a question. She just comments on my Buccaneers look, which I asked people to do in the video. So thank you guys all for commenting on my Buccaneers look. And what I came to conclude is most people like it, so that's good. Eric Mock asks, question, I have a few Bill Misos for finding a new character because I'm bored of my Buck. I need help deciding between Shads, DBs, Loomies, or Dark. Well, I don't really like answering questions like this because I feel like you should really, try them all out yourself and see which one you have more fun on and see which one, just is more appealing to you overall. Because I'm biased against, like, on Shad's side, I'm gonna say Shadower because they're a very strong class and they're absolutely fun as hell. But you should also factor in how expensive the class is to fund, how much damage they do according to the DPS charts, and also like if you're kind of into being original or not, then obviously you'd probably want to go with a Luminous because those are there's not too many Luminuses out there. But Dark Knights are really strong, Dual Blades are really strong, and Shadowers are all really strong. Luminous not so much. But I'd say Shadower. I mean, if not Shadower, then go ahead and go for DB. But I don't know, man. You should always try and decide for yourself. And if you're trying to focus on bossing, then the first thing you want to get for sure is your weapon. Try and get a massive weapon that you'll never have to upgrade again. So I hope I answered your question to some extent, and yeah, thanks for submitting. Sebastian Wang asks, I saw in one of your videos these Japanese warrior soul. I know it's part of the soul weapon, but how do I get these? The Japanese things you saw in my video are not really soul weapons. They kind of are, but not really, because they're totems. They're actually totems from something called Sengoku High. You get these whenever Nexon brings around this event called Sengoku High. It's like a red leaf high number 2. Depending on what version of MapleStory you're playing in, you will or will not know this. But Sengoku High, you have to purchase cash shop keys for 400 NX each, and you just keep going in, get points, and then with those points you could buy the totems. And yeah, they do give you a skill like soul weapons do, but it's not really considered a soul weapon because they're totems. So yeah, that's how you get it, and yeah, that's what they are. They're actually totems. Next, we have SD Key. I said key. SDK. Holy, such a short name, but it freaking twisted my tongue. Alright, do you find Maple enjoyable, and what are some of the things you would change / add / remove in Maple to make it more enjoyable? So, do I find Maple enjoyable? Yes and no. Maple could be very repetitive depending on how you play, and for me now, it's not really enjoyable unless I'm a funded person. Like, so I can't really enjoy myself to the max potential, like on my Buccaneer, unless I'm really strong. So, yes and no, because it could be repetitive, and I've been playing the game for so long now that there's not too much to do for me, someone like me. So that's a problem. And something I would change, add, or remove to make it more enjoyable, I would definitely add PvP, one of the older styles of PvP. So that's something I would add to make it more enjoyable. Something I would change is the dojo. I'd want it to be a party dojo like it was way back, like in 2010. I want a party dojo so I could go in with my party and struggle to kill the bosses, although probably wouldn't struggle since, I'm pretty funded. But it would be nice to have a challenge in dojo that you could do with a party. So that's something I would change, and something I'd remove. I'm just trying to think of everything, one thing for all these categories. Something I would remove would probably be. I can't think of removing anything actually. I would probably. I'd want Rudibus gear, but I don't know what to remove. I want Rudibus gear to be harder to obtain, so the prices could go back up. That would make the game more enjoyable for me. If the prices for Rudibus gear and stuff like that went back up. So, okay, I would remove those boxes that they bring out in events in the cash shop that, give out tyrants. That give out tyrants and Rudibus gear. That's something I would remove because yeah, I want to be able to make an earning or a living in Maple off those gears from bossing, but you could barely sell them for like 60-80 mil, so yeah, I can't really make a profit or a living off that. So that's something I'd change, add, and remove. So hopefully I answered your question there. Victor O asks, nope, never mind, he doesn't ask anything. And I might be going over some of you guys' questions but not answering it because I already answered it in someone else's question. So for example, Logan Smith asked, what influenced you to start YouTube and why did you play MapleStory? So I answered the first part of his question, but the second part I didn't, so I'll answer that right now. Why did I play MapleStory? Well, I started playing MapleStory because most of my best friends were playing it, and they'd often talk about the game, right? And I'd be around and I'd be hearing about it, and it sounds so fascinating to me, and they'd be saying like in-game jokes to each other, but I wouldn't understand. It wouldn't be funny to me because I didn't play the game. And so, once I did start playing, I got everything that they were saying, and yeah, that's why I started playing MapleStory. Sounded awesome, and evidently it was to me because I'm still playing to this day. After like what, 6-7 years? So hopefully I answered your question, Logan Smith. Thank you for submitting. Chase Condon asks, is CRA, so Chaos Rudibus, a good way to equip yourself with free Rudibus gear? And also, what's a good way to get free Empress? And how hard is it to fund a Night Lord with 0 to 50k NX? Probably just 0. So these questions are actually kind of funny since they kind of contradict itself. So for the first question, is Chaos Rudibus a good way to equip yourself with free Rudibus? Definitely not, because in order to do Chaos Rudibus, you have to be beyond well equipped. So you can't, there's no way in hell, unless you have godly friends that are willing to take you on a freebie. But Chaos Rudibus, you need to be well beyond funded in order to do those bosses. So if you are doing Chaos Rudibus, is to sell the gear. Definitely not to use it for yourself, because by that point you should already have, really good Rudibus gear. So it's definitely not a good way to equip yourself with free Rudibus gear. A good way to get free Empress gear, there is none. They're already really cheap in the FM. The only way to get Empress is to either kill her yourself, which you have to be equipped to do, and she's really hard still, or buy it for cheap in the FM. There's no good way to get free Empress gear. Yeah, none at all. Because even if you looked at Gachapon, you actually have to buy NX to buy Gachapon, so it's still not free. And lastly, how hard is it to fund a Night Lord with 0 to 50k NX? Probably just 0. Depends on what your definition of fund is, but 0 NX, obviously that's going to be extremely hard, because Night Lords are one of the hardest classes to fund, since they're percent luck and claws are expensive. So funding a Night Lord even with 50k NX you can't really do much with 50k NX. And I know it's pretty sad to say in here, but it's the truth. If you want to actually fund a Night Lord, you're going to need to put in a lot more than 50k NX, so sorry about that. So hopefully I answered your questions. I know I didn't give you exactly answers that you wanted to hear, but it's the truth. Next, we have Killwant. He asks, or she, what is your favorite Maple job? My favorite MapleStory job as of right now, because it does change from time to time. It used to be Wind Archers a little while ago in my top 10 favorite classes video. But as of right now, it's a tie between Demon Slayers, Shadowers, and Hayatos. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But I can't decide between those three which one's my absolute favorite right now. And yeah, I think it's Demon Slayer though. I think Demon Slayer is my favorite Maple job at the moment. They're just so friggin' awesome. But yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Um, Next we have Breath Tidal Wave. He asks, what motivates you to keep playing MapleStory? That's a good question, because a lot of people do ask that question, and I don't really have a true answer for it, which is very, very sad. But I think what motivates me, or actually, I realize what motivates me is being able to come on and speak to my friends and bossing with them. That's really what motivates me. And also certain events do motivate me to come on and, kill mobs for the drops. So events, friends, and bosses. I think those are the three main things that motivate me to keep playing MapleStory. And also, of course, the biggest part actually is my goal of reaching 1 mil and beyond range. That definitely keeps me motivated to play MapleStory because I'm so close, and I've never, imagined back then that I'd even come close to being this far. So that definitely still motivates me to play MapleStory, and that's probably the biggest reason why I still play. So thank you for that question, Breath Tidal Wave, and I hope I answered it, properly. Next we have Loic Bulkane. Probably butchered that. He asks, what do I think is the best MapleStory class? I just answered that. How long did I play MapleStory for? As of right now, it's been about six and a half years, something like that. I'm losing count at this point. And what's my what's my plan for the future with my YouTube? For YouTube in the future, I plan to continue bringing you guys content. I do plan to grow. I'm growing every single day, and I thank every single one of you, whether you're new, whether you're old. I thank all of you so much. And I do plan to continue making MapleStory videos and also MapleStory 2 videos, provided my computer could handle it. Um, I'm always going to be trying to bring you guys original and unique content. Show you guys things that no one else thought about showing you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that stuff. And I'm gonna try and be very exclusive to MapleStory on this channel because I know you guys don't really want to see other stuff. And if you guys did, well, you could tell me and I'll try and adapt. So thank you for your questions, Loic Bulkin, or however you say your name. I apologize. But yeah, good questions. So Ace Mazaretto asks, hello, Sorrow. Your book looks nice. Seems strong too. But my question is, do you like it before Big Bang or now? That's a really, really tough question. Pre-Big Bang bucks, oh boy, I love them to death. I mean, Barrage, the old Barrage animation, whew. And the demolition, where you go invisible, oh god. Plus you could go Super Saiyan. Such... I like the old Bucks, man. Pre-Big Bang wins. Man, those Bucks are fucking awesome. Pre-Big Bang Buck, nothing could beat that shit, man. Despite how weak they were. I'll go with a pre-Big Bang Buck any day. Holy, they're awesome. Very good question. Very tough question. Really do like that. Next, we have Bob Jim. I think your buck looks pretty neat. Works well with the hat. Do you think bucks will be revamped in the future, and what's the best thing about being a buck? Do I think they'll be revamped in the future? In the far future, yes, because they were recently revamped. So, but that's how the game works. Revamp after revamp after revamp. It'll never stop. Because they're always going to be trying to balance the game. So they will be revamped in the far future. Not anytime soon though. And what's the best thing about being a buck? The skills. Bucks are one of the most fun classes in the game to play, and that's my opinion, of course. But they're absolutely fun, and their skills are so cool. If you like Dragon Ball Z, you'll like a Buccaneer. They're pretty much like a freaking Super Saiyan, and who the hell doesn't like that? They're super fun, and that's something, again, I said people forget about sometimes, but You know, they might not be the strongest class, and they definitely aren't, but they're extremely fun. So you have to give them credit for that. And another thing is, you know, there's not too many bucks out there, so you have that little sense of originality in being a Buccaneer, especially if you main a buck. I love people that main Buccaneers. I really am inspired by those people, and I really applaud them for maining a Buccaneer. Those people are awesome. So if any of you guys main a Buccaneer out there, just know you're awesome. All right. Um, Oh boy, next question. Mitchell Van Zygel. He asks, and most of you guys should know this if you know me and watched me for a while. Do you or do you not like Mihail? If you don't, what do you dislike about it? If you do, what do you like about it? If you like Mihail, could you make a guide about him? And this is apparently the #1 Mihail on Maple Sea. So congrats to you on being the #1 Mihail in your server, or you know, Maple version. But unfortunately, I absolutely hate Mihails. They're probably going to be in my top. Yeah, they're probably going to be in my top 3 most hated classes in all of MapleStory. So sorry to break it to you, but I absolutely hate the class. What do I dislike about it? Every single thing. I hate all its skills. I hate how it looks, how its natural look is. I don't like classes too much that use exactly swords, like sword and shield. So there's actually not one thing I like about the class. Don't even like the fact that he's light based, like a god kind of thing. So yeah, don't like anything about him. Sorry. Next, we have Gary Lee. Hey Sorrowful, I'm a big fan, bro. First question. Thanks for being a fan. I'm sure this question is being asked a lot, but I must know since you inspired me to continue my Night Lord pre-read. Will you ever go back to being your Night Lord? So I'm going to answer these questions one by one. So for that first question, will I ever go back to being my Night Lord? There's little to no chance that I'll be going back to my Night Lord as a main. There is a small chance that I will, you know, make it come aboard my second main, but that's still a small chance. My Night Lord is almost pretty much, I'm pretty sure, like done for good. But you know, maybe I might do videos of him, but I might not, you know, play him regularly. So second question, do you see yourself playing Maple years from now, or are you slowly pulling away from it? Not sure if I did that question right, but you got the picture. I do get the picture, and it's actually a very good question. I do see myself playing MapleStory for years from now, because there's still so much that I haven't showed you guys, and I'm not gonna be done until I show you guys everything. That's just, you know, something I made to myself, a promise. And I was slowly pulling away from it kind of recently, but now I'm back in it like never before. And you guys can probably tell from all the videos and all my effort that I'm putting into my videos. But yeah, I'm definitely back in, at least for right now. But I still do think I will be playing Maple for years and years to come. Third question, what do you think about the Nightwalker revamp? Side note, the buck looks fly like all your characters. Thanks, Gary Lee. But what do I think about the Nightwalker revamp? I think it's actually very cool and very unique. The only thing I don't really like, although it adds versatile or versity, what's the word I'm looking for? God, I can't remember. Something like versatile. It adds, you know, that word to it is the shadow partner. I don't really like it, even though it, you know, adds a lot to the class. But I don't like it. It's not for me, the shadow partner. But other than that, I really like the class, and I'm very intrigued by it. I will definitely be making one, and also be making videos of it. So stay tuned if you guys want to see that. And that's the last question, guys. Thank you all so much who participated. I know this took 35 minutes. Damn. If you guys have suggestions on how I can make it shorter in the future, please feel free to let me know, because I know you guys don't like these long videos, but you know, I am just answering you guys' questions. So if you want, you guys could just skip until you hear me answer your question, if that's all you really care about. But I'm sorry for the length of the video. Thank you all so much for participating this time. Really, you know, really good questions, and hopefully you guys learned some stuff about me. So I'm just scrolling through, making sure I didn't miss anything. I thought I saw a question. Well, I think that's it. Well, guys, thank you all for watching and listening this time around. This has been a Sorrowful production. I'll be seeing you all later, and stay tuned for the next Q&A, whenever that may be. So this has been a Sorrowful production. I'll be seeing you all later. Have a great day. Peace. If you liked that last video, why not click another? You might like that one too. And don't forget to subscribe.